Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this very special celebration of the 6th International Day of Yoga. International Day of Yoga was introduced in a resolution at the UN in 2015. Since then, in several editions of International Day of Yoga, we have celebrated it with the community in very prominent places. But this year is special. This year's theme is Yoga at home and yoga with family. We have a very special guest with us today. I would like to invite our Consul General, Mr. Sandeep Chakrabarty, to introduce the special guest and take it from here.
Namaskar. Thank you, Shatrughan. Good morning to everyone who is joining us today on this very special day of International Day of Yoga. Today is also the summer solstice day. Today is Father's Day, and today is also solar eclipse in several parts of the world. So it's a very special day, and it seems to me that the celestial forces and man-made forces or human forces have somehow conspired to make this such a wonderful occasion. We are delighted and honored that Congressman Tim Ryan has joined us. He will be our keynote speaker. And we will come to you, Congressman, very shortly. But I just want to start by thanking you for giving us time on what is also a very special day for you, not only as Yoga Day, but as a father of 3 children. I'm sure you have your day full today, taking care, or your children taking care of their dad. So thank you. And I know it's a very special day here in the United States. Thank you for joining us. As my colleague Shatrughan Sinha said, in 2015, at India's initiative, the United Nations passed a resolution for commemorating the International Day of Yoga. Yoga, as we know, was originated in India, but I think the United States became its second home, and it became very, very popular in this country. We saw a report in the Forbes magazine which said that 36 million Americans practice yoga regularly, and I think the number is growing. Normally, we celebrate Yoga Day outside in iconic places and venues, just to popularize yoga and to bring in people, involve people. For instance, our UN mission celebrates yoga in the UN complex, and we have celebrated yoga in Governor's Island in just off the coast of Manhattan 2 years back, and last year we celebrated it in New Jersey. With the community. But this year, because of COVID, we are constrained. But our Prime Minister came out with the slogan of Ghar Ghar se yoga, which means yoga from home and yoga with our families. And the web technologies are amazing. It allows us to join people from various geographies, like you are joining us from Ohio, Congressman, and my colleagues are all sitting in their homes, and they have joined us. And we are broadcasting it on Facebook Live, and thousands across the world will see this event and hear your message. Congressman Tim Ryan represents the 13th district of Ohio. He has been an 8-term congressman, if I'm not wrong, and has been involved in congressional politics and in making Ohio an important player in the national politics. And he is a great friend of the community. A congressman also wears many hats and caps. And one hat which Congressman attracted my attention is your emphasis on healthy living, on eating right, and maintaining mind and body balance. I think these are aspects of your work which encourage us to reach out to you. And we are so happy that you joined us on this International Day of Yoga. I would also like to say that Ohio is our frontier state, in the sense that our jurisdiction ends at Ohio. And when I came here 3 years back, our people of Ohio with whom we deal were always feeling that we did not involve Ohio enough, and that is why we did an overcorrection. And I think we traveled and we have great contacts with the people in Ohio, and we have met with a lot of congressmen and senators. And a few months back, I also went and met with the governor. So I think we have a great connect with Ohio, and it is only appropriate and proper that a congressman of Ohio is joining us today. Before I hand over to you, I would like to acknowledge and thank our common friend, Dan Rajaya, who is from Cincinnati, who helped us in reaching out to your office and you agreeing to joining us on the International Day of Yoga. Congressman, we all are facing challenges these days, and particularly in the last 4 months since March, both the United States and India have been facing the challenge of COVID. But here again, I would say that yoga comes to our aid to help us maintain our physical health and mental well-being, and it is a tool or an instrument which is very easy to access. You don't require to be a sportsman to practice yoga, or you don't have to be physically fit to practice yoga. Yoga is different things to different people, and anyone can do yoga to the best of his or her ability. And I think that is the uniqueness of yoga. And now I think yoga makes much more sense to a lot of people, because I was hearing one television anchor, Chris Cuomo. He was also afflicted with COVID, and he was talking of breathing exercises. Now, breathing exercises are nothing but pranayama, which have been part of the yoga compendium for thousands of years. And we may call yoga with different names, mindfulness or meditation or breathing exercises, but I think it's part of this huge body of science which our forefathers thousands of years compiled through experimentation and experience, and they have left us this legacy, and it is upon us now to make the best use of these. So with these words, I hand over to you, Congressman. We'd love to hear from you, your experiences of practicing yoga, your experiences of meditation, and how you think yoga can help us lead better lives. Over to you, Congressman.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that so much. I can't thank you enough. Happy Father's Day to everybody, and congratulations on your 6th annual International Yoga Day. I think it's amazing. When I first read about India taking this on, I was just super excited about it, and want to congratulate Prime Minister Modi and the government for all of their leadership, and our mutual friend Daniel, who's been a great friend to me. He was an intern in my office many years ago, and he's been one of the good ones, one of the ones you stay in touch with and try to help along the way. And now he's to the point where he's helping me. Again, on Ohio, in the Indian American community here in Ohio, it's been a robust community for a long time in the state, and we're very thankful for all who have come from India, immigrated here to the United States, whether it's in the medical field at amazing facilities like the Cleveland Clinic, whether it's around entrepreneurship and innovation and starting businesses and creating jobs here in Ohio. The Indian American community has been a significant contributor to the successes we've had in Ohio. So I wanted to take this opportunity to also say thank you for all of that. The idea now in 2020, in the middle of the
I think we lost you, Congressman. Yeah, you're back. You're back. You're back.
COVID-19, the idea of yoga is a way, making its way into the enormous amount of anxiety. But this is really nothing new in the United. You think about things and all of these things. and what's happening now to meet the moment in not just America, but around the world, which is why it's so Yoga, International Day of Yoga. And I will just say that, you know, most of us come to this practice as I was an old football player, and I had a bad shoulder and a bad back and a bad knee. And I was just, you know, all the injuries over the years were taking their toll on me. And so I started practicing yoga as a way to really help with my body. And that led to other things and a meditation practice, and then eventually wrote a book called Healing America, or build around the science behind meditation. And so that's how people start. And I think today, when I say yoga is meeting the moment, we have huge, and we had before the coronavirus, we had huge amounts of income inequality in the United States, the greatest gap between the rich and the poor since the Great Depression. And so then we had, you know, huge issues around mental health and depression and huge levels of chronic anxiety, you know, not just nervousness, but deep anxiety that people were feeling to be able to make ends meet, to be able to get health care, to be able to really have a lot of hopes and dreams for their kids' future. And then we had the coronavirus, and now we had 40 million people file for unemployment. And with a lot of uncertainty over the next year or two or three for the future of the country. And so the yoga practice starts with obviously the physical practice of yoga. And we see so many corporations now incorporating yoga into their healthcare promotions within their own buildings where they have yoga classes. We in Congress now, we started a well-being committee, not a committee for well-being, but actually an office of well-being in the House of Representatives. And there are mindfulness-based stress reduction teachers. They're organizing yoga classes and other things to really help promote you know, mental health and really promote physical health, and really drawing that connection between practices like yoga that don't have to necessarily be a religious practice to really experience the deep benefits of the practice. But that, you know, leads to something else that's a little bit deeper that I just wanted to touch upon, because I think it's really important. You know, we see athletes now doing yoga. You know, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant used to do it, and all of these, Tom Brady. Like, if you look at the high performing American athlete, they have yoga as a part of their regime. It's diet, it's nutrition, it's some kind of contemplative practice, and it's yoga. And, you know, now that Tom Brady, for example, was, you know, in his 40s and still playing national football, I think a contribution to that is because of his yoga practice. So there's that physical practice, but what I think what's going to be important today, and I think that we need to continue to highlight through this practice, isn't just the physical promotion and well-being and, you know, just overall health. And I think the more and more research we do on it, the more and more it's going to bear itself out of the huge impact that this can have on us. We need to teach it in our schools. We need to make sure it's accessible for our communities. But it's something on Saturday in New York City, in Queens, New York, South Jamaica, New York, South Jamaica, Queens. It's been around now 5 or 6 years. The Urban Yogis. It's 5 or 6 African-American leaders in the community who have been teaching yoga and meditation to people in that community. They are leading a march, and there will be an 8-minute and 46-second meditation in South Jamaica, Queens next Saturday, and a mindful march where they're going to actually do community service and pick up trash in the streets and try to really clean the community up. This is what yogis in America are starting to do. And I think it's going to get infused into the marches and the nonviolent protests that are happening in the United States. And I have a hunch that this is going to grow into a broader movement. So the practices of yoga and mindfulness are actually going to get infused into the social consciousness of the country. And it's going to have a huge impact on where this country needs to go to heal. And because ultimately that's what yoga helps our bodies do. Our bodies naturally want to heal themselves, but we add stress and we have bad diets. And so the body doesn't naturally heal itself. But when we do these practices that reduce our stress and get our body functioning in balance, the body will heal itself. I feel the same way about the body politic in the United States, that if we bring balance and it's led by people like the urban yogis, it's going to make a big difference. But the main point I really wanted to make here is that the underlying issue, I think, in our country, and I can only speak to being in America, is that there's a disconnect. And I think all of the information, all of the busyness, we've been disconnected from each other. We think we're more connected because, we have these phones, right? We think we're more connected, but in a lot of ways we're not. And there's a disconnect from each other. There's a disconnect from nature, and there's really been a disconnect from who we are, deep down. In the deepest parts of who we are. And these practices help us reconnect to what's deepest and best inside of us. And I believe that emerging ourselves into that another dimension of who we are, deeply who we are, connecting to that, ultimately can allow us to come out of that time, these practices, with more creativity, more balance, more imagination to really solve the really big problems that we have. And the extension of that is recognizing how do we heal ourselves. And there's all kinds of really cool initiatives like using food as medicine to actually reverse chronic disease. So in the United States, 75% of chronic disease comes from things that are preventable. And we can reverse type 2 diabetes, for example, just with diet and nutrition changes, practices like yoga, reducing stress and meditation. This is a comprehensive approach to a really big problem that we have, but it comes from an understanding of seeing, the root cause. In the practice of yoga, when you're in your body and you're training your mind, you see the subtle shifts. And you see where the stress is, where the pain is, where you need to act. Stopping and breathing and like taking a minute is not something we do very often. And so you're starting to train the mind in the discipline of, really being able to do it. So this practice is starting to really take its toll. I think it's well beyond 36 million people in the United States. Because people, are trying it more and more every single day. I hear more about it every day. My colleagues, fortunately, some are starting to practice the yoga classes in the house gymnasium are full in the morning. The yoga classes at the VA are full, and more veterans are trying to get in to use yoga as a way to deal with their post-traumatic stress. There's a great program called Project Welcome Home Troops that does the Kriya Yoga breathing and the pranayama to heal veterans and literally getting them off of their medication. Some of them come in with 13, 14, or 15 different prescription drugs that they take, and they go through this Project Welcome Home Troops, which is a phenomenal program, in 5 days. And a month or two later, if they keep practicing it, they end up getting off a good many of their prescription drugs. So there's huge cost savings, but the healing that comes from this, I think, is critical. So again, I'm a big supporter. I'm a big fan. I appreciate all that you're doing to highlight this. I'm proud to be a part of this particular event today, the 6th annual. And please keep me in mind. Just have Dan give me a call if there's anything else I could do, whether it's in Ohio or somewhere around the country, really to be a part of continuing to promote this. But keep your eye on groups like the Urban Yogis, who are really infusing this practice, this ancient practice, into the social fabric of our country to make big political change. I think that's the most exciting thing happening in America today. So thank you for the opportunity to be with you. Happy Father's Day, and our best to Prime Minister Modi and your government and all of your leaders. So thank you for the opportunity to be with you.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
Wonderful message, and you gave us a lot of insights, and we will follow up on some of these initiatives that are happening, and we'll see how we can support them. Thank you for all your support and your message. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the post-COVID era, friends, greetings on the 6th International Day of Yoga. I'm very happy to note the growing popularity of yoga in the last few years, and especially among the youth. We are marking the 6th Yoga Day in extraordinary times. Usually, Yoga Day is about public events, mass participation. This year, Yoga Day goes indoors. The theme of the year is yoga at home and yoga with family. Friends, the world is fighting a pandemic of monumental scale, but yoga provides multi-dimensional solutions to the multiple challenges COVID-19 has brought. Yoga gives you the opportunity to know your immune system better and put in the extra efforts where needed. Yoga has the potential to cater to mental, physical, and psychological challenges. It puts to test how one can live in challenging times. Friends, yoga offers something for everyone. It enables strong mind and healthy body. In the post-COVID era, the focus on preventive healthcare will get stronger, and that is why I'm confident that yoga will become even more popular. Friends, these are times of distancing, but do you know that yoga is what ends distance? It is said, yujjate anen iti yoga. Yoga is that which joins or brings things together. Yoga ends various kinds of distance. Distance between our mind and body, which is the root cause of many problems. Distance between the life we have and the life we want to have. Distance between our expectations and reality, which can become a source of stress. Friends, the regular practice of yoga gives emotional strength and empathy. We begin to understand that others would be going through the same struggle as us. So, we become a shoulder of support for someone in need of it. Friends, the COVID-19 pandemic may have reduced our mobility, but it should not affect our enthusiasm towards yoga. People have been sharing innovative ways to practice yoga in times of the pandemic. They are also sharing how they will mark Yoga Day on the 21st. This is a great sign. This time, small is smart and small is good. Respecting the present situation, let us mark the 6th International Day of Yoga from our homes, with our family. And let us follow all norms of social distancing. Let us make yoga more popular and our planet healthier. Thank you.
Friends, that was a message from our Honorable Prime Minister. We will now proceed ahead with the program. We have with us Dr. Dayashankar Vidyalankar, who is teacher of Indian culture at the Consulate General of India in New York. He's a practicing yogi. He will demonstrate some yoga asanas for us.
म्यूट है, अनम्यूट करो। ओम संगच्छध्वं संवदध्वं संभो मनांसि जानतां देवा भागं यथा पूर्वे संजानाना उपासते। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस के छठे पावन पर्व पर आप सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत मंगल कामनाएं। संसार में वेद के द्वारा दुख से छूट करके सुख को प्राप्त करने की विद्या महर्षि पतंजलि ने योग दर्शन में 195 सूत्रों के द्वारा हमें बतलाई। अब हम कुछ यौगिक क्रियाओं का अभ्यास करेंगे। गहरा श्वास भर करके लंबे स्वर से ओम का उच्चारण करेंगे। अब हम कुछ सूक्ष्म व्यायाम करने की कोशिश करेंगे। दोनों हाथ को ऐसे रख करके और बिग सर्कल, खूब बड़ा सा गोला 10 बार बनाए। बिग सर्कल, दिस इज गुड फॉर सर्वाइकल पेन, माइग्रेन पेन। 10 बार पूरी ताकत लगेगी। लंग्स सिस्टम को बहुत अपडेट करता है। और एंटी क्लॉकवाइज 10 बार। अब हाथ को फैलाएंगे और श्वास को इनहेल करते हुए जितनी आप में ताकत है पूरी ताकत लगा करके लंग्स पूरा भर जाएगा सांस से। और उसके बाद में हाथ को बेंड करना है। हाथ को बेंड करके कंधे पर रखना है। गहरा सांस भरें, डीप ब्रीथिंग। धीरे धीरे वापस। ये कोविड में लंग सिस्टम को मजबूत करने के लिए बहुत इफेक्टिव क्रिया है। जितनी ताकत हो पूरी ताकत लगा दीजिए और गहरा श्वास भर कर फिर बेंड करेंगे। वापस। अब कुछ खड़े होकर के करने वाली क्रिया करेंगे। हाथ को कमर पे रखेंगे और ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है। गर्दन को बेंड करेंगे। गर्दन को आगे की ओर जब लेकर के जाएंगे तो श्वास को बाहर करेंगे और पीछे की ओर ले जाते समय श्वास को अंदर भरेंगे। यदि सर्वाइकल की दिक्कत है तो गर्दन को आगे नहीं झुकाएंगे, बाकी समय में कर सकते हैं। तो श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए गर्दन को बेंड करेंगे। इनहेल करते हुए वापस और पीछे की ओर ले जाएंगे। आंखें खुली रखेंगे, छत को देखेंगे पूरी अच्छे प्रकार से, आंखें खुली रख करके धीरे धीरे वापस और फिर श्वास को छोड़ते हुए फिर आगे की ओर। श्वास भरते हुए वापस और पीछे की ओर जाएंगे, आंखें खुली रखेंगे, वापस। अब गर्दन को लेफ्ट और राइट साइड में बेंड करना है, श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए। 1 2, फिर एक्सेल करते हुए दूसरी साइड में 3 4 5 6 7 8। अब लेफ्ट एंड राइट साइड में ट्विस्ट करना है गर्दन को, श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए। लेफ्ट साइड में करेंगे 1 2, वापस 3 4 5 6 7 8। अब हाथ को ऊपर की ओर उठाएंगे श्वास भरते हुए और हाथ को लॉक करेंगे और करेंगे ताड़ आसन। दोनों पैर के पंजों पर खड़े हो जाएं और खड़े होकर के होल्ड करना है कम से कम 20 सेकंड तक। ये कमर दर्द, सियाटिका, स्लिप डिस्क, सर्वाइकल और डाइजेशन सिस्टम के लिए बहुत लाभदायक क्रिया है। ताड़ आसन, पाम पोस्चर। इनहेल करके होल्ड करेंगे, पूरी शक्ति से सांस को अंदर भर के रखेंगे। ऐसा लगे कि ऊपर से कोई हाथ खींच के ऊपर उठा रहा है और नीचे से कोई पैर खींच रहा है, पूरे शरीर में खिंचाव पड़ेगा। धीरे धीरे वापस। 1 मोर। वापस। अब करेंगे वृक्ष आसन, ट्री पोस्चर। बाएं पैर को सीधा रखेंगे, राइट पैर को बेंड करके एनस के पास ले जा करके रखेंगे और श्वास को इनहेल करते हुए दोनों हाथ को ऊपर ले जाएंगे और प्रणाम मुद्रा में इस स्थिति में बैलेंस बनाएंगे। इससे पैरों में शक्ति आती है, बैलेंस अच्छा बनता है और श्वास की गति को शक्ति मिलती है। कोविड में भी इससे बहुत शरीर की इम्यून सिस्टम को डेवलप करने में लाभ मिलता है। पूरी शक्ति से हाथ को ऊपर टाइट करके रखेंगे और खड़े रखेंगे, खड़े रहेंगे। धीरे धीरे वापस। दूसरे पैर से करेंगे। कम से कम 30 सेकंड करना चाहिए। इस स्थिति में दोनों हाथ को श्वास भरते हुए ऊपर की ओर लेके जाएं। और ये सब करते हुए ईश्वर का चिंतन। ईश्वर सर्वव्यापक, निराकार, सर्वशक्तिमान, दयालु, अनुपम, सर्वेश्वर है और सबको आनंद देने वाला है। ये चिंतन करते रहें और धीरे धीरे वापस। अब करेंगे कटी चक्रासन। दोनों हाथ को सामने ऐसे लेके जाएंगे और श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए लेफ्ट साइड में मुड़ेंगे। इतने मुड़ते जाएंगे कि जब तक हमारा दाहिना हाथ बाएं का हाथ के कंधे को टच करना है और श्वास को बाहर निकाल करके पूरा ट्विस्ट होना है धीरे धीरे। और हाथ की ये गैप इतना रहेगा शुरू से लेकर के अंत तक। श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए और होल्ड रखें। धीरे धीरे वापस। फिर दूसरी साइड में करेंगे। पैर में लगभग आधे फीट की गैप रहेगा और हाथ और पैर की जो गैपिंग है बराबर रहेगी। श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए अपोजिट साइड में। कमर दर्द के लिए बहुत अच्छा अभ्यास कटी चक्रासन। धीरे धीरे वापस। अब करेंगे नी मूवमेंट। जिनको घुटने में बहुत दर्द रहता है उसके लिए बहुत अच्छा अभ्यास है। लेकिन यदि किसी को गठिया या अर्थराइटिस ज्यादा सीवियर पोजीशन में है तो वो नहीं कर सकते, बाकी लोग कर सकते हैं। पैर में थोड़ा सा गैप, हाथ को सामने रखेंगे और बिना गर्दन कमर को मोड़े सीधे बैठने की कोशिश करेंगे। पूरा बैठना नहीं है और होल्ड रखना है। इससे हमारे शरीर की शक्ति बहुत अधिक बढ़ती है, पैरों में बहुत ताकत आती है। श्वास को छोड़ते हुए, श्वास एक्सेल करते हुए झुकेंगे और ऐसे होल्ड रखेंगे और लगभग 20 सेकंड तक होल्ड रखिए। आपको पता लगेगा कि आपके शरीर में कितना दम है। धीरे धीरे वापस। ये बहुत लाभदायक क्रिया है घुटनों के लिए। लेकिन अगर गठिया और अर्थराइटिस सीवियर पोजीशन में है तो नहीं कर सकते हैं, बाकी लोग कर सकते हैं। अब करेंगे अर्ध चक्र आसन। कमर पे हाथ रखेंगे और श्वास को इनहेल करते हुए पीछे की ओर झुकना है। जितना झुक सकते आराम से। आंखें खुली रखेंगे और जिसको पेट में किसी भी प्रकार का ऑपरेशन हुआ है वो नहीं कर सकते हैं और जिसको हार्निया की शिकायत रही है वो भी नहीं कर सकते, बाकी लोग कर सकते हैं। श्वास को इनहेल करते हुए पीछे की ओर झुकना है। जितना झुक सकते हैं ध्यान रखेंगे। चक्कर आए तो नहीं करेंगे। धीरे धीरे वापस। ये बहुत लाभदायक क्रिया है। अब करेंगे हम त्रिकोण आसन। पैर में थोड़ा सा गैप कर लीजिए। कोविड में लंग सिस्टम को मजबूत करने के लिए बहुत इफेक्टिव क्रिया है। श्वास को निकालते हुए आगे की ओर झुकेंगे और त्रिकोण आसन ये इस स्थिति में करके जाएंगे और श्वास की स्थिति अपने आप बैलेंस बनती रहेगी। जहां जरूरत होगी श्वास लेते रहेंगे, छोड़ते रहेंगे। श्वास को छोड़ते ऐसे आगे झुके और ऐसे बार बार करिए। त्रिकोण आसन। वज्रासन कमर दर्द के लिए ठीक नहीं है, बाकी लोग कर सकते हैं, बहुत अच्छा अभ्यास। वापस। अब बैठ जाएंगे, बैठ करके वज्रासन में बैठेंगे। वज्रासन एक ऐसी क्रिया है जो भोजन के बाद में भी किया जा सकने वाला आसन होता है। तो मुट्ठी बंद रखेंगे। जिनको शुगर, मोटापा, पार्किंसन, डिप्रेशन और बहुत गुस्सा आता है, उन सबको कंट्रोल करने के लिए बहुत अच्छा अभ्यास है। तो मुट्ठी को ऐसे बंद करना। देखो, ये अंगूठे में अग्नि तत्व होता है, तर्जनी अंगुली में वायु तत्व होता है, मिडिल फिंगर में आकाश तत्व और रिंग फिंगर में पृथ्वी तत्व और सबसे छोटी वाली में जल तत्व होता है। तो इन अंगुलियों का बड़ा योगदान होता है शरीर के स्वास्थ्य में। अंगूठे को ऐसे बंद करके और नाभि के पास में रखते हैं। जिनको कमर में दर्द है वे नहीं झुकेंगे, बाकी लोग कर सकते हैं, और जिनका किसी प्रकार का ऑपरेशन हुआ है वो भी नहीं कर सकते। श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए आगे की ओर झुकना। धीरे धीरे वापस। मंडूक आसन। अभी आगे झुक लिया तो पीछे वाले भी आसन करने हैं। तो अब करेंगे उष्ट्र आसन। श्वास को भरते हुए पीछे की ओर झुकना ऐसे, और पैर को पकड़ लेना और ऐसे करना। धीरे धीरे वापस। अब पैर को सीधा करेंगे और पैर को आगे पीछे करेंगे। जिनको क्रैम्प पड़ते हैं, घुटनों में दर्द है, बहुत अच्छा अभ्यास। पॉइंट और टोज, लेग्स और फीट बार बार करेंगे और फिर रोटेट करेंगे एंकल को क्लॉकवाइज और एंटी क्लॉकवाइज। फिर दोनों पैर को बेंड करके और करेंगे बटरफ्लाई। और अब करेंगे वक्रासन। एक पैर को सीधा रखेंगे, दाहिने पैर को, और बाएं पैर को दाहिने पैर के बगल में ऐसे रखना है, और दाहिने हाथ को, जो पैर सीधा है, दाहिने हाथ को उठा करके और इसके बगल में ऐसे रख देना है, और फिर कमर को ट्विस्ट करना है। कमर दर्द के लिए बहुत अच्छा अभ्यास है, आराम करने में, कमर दर्द को फिक्स करने में। ट्विस्ट करके ऐसे झुकना है और धीरे धीरे वापस। फिर दूसरे पैर को ऐसे करना है, बायां पैर सीधा, दाहिने पैर को बाएं पैर के बगल में रखेंगे और हाथ को दाहिने पैर के साथ में ले जाएंगे और श्वास को एक्सेल करते हुए ट्विस्ट करना है कमर को। धीरे धीरे वापस। अब लेट कर किए जाने वाले आसन करेंगे। लेट जाएंगे और दोनों पैर को उठा करके 30 सेकंड तक होल्ड रखना है। उत्तान पाद आसन। ये पूरे शरीर को बहुत प्रकार से शक्ति प्रदान करता है, मन को एकाग्र करता है, तनाव समाप्त करता है। श्वास को इनहेल करते हुए पैर को उठाएंगे 30 डिग्री तक और 30 सेकंड तक होल्ड रखना है। पैर को कंपन नहीं होने देना है। धीरे धीरे वापस। अब हम उल्टे हो जाएं, पेट के बल लेट करके, और करेंगे भुजंग आसन। जिनको कमर में दर्द, सियाटिका, स्लिप डिस्क, सर्वाइकल है और लंग सिस्टम को अच्छा करने के लिए बहुत अच्छा अभ्यास। श्वास को भरते हुए ऊपर की ओर उठेंगे और पीछे आकाश की ओर देखने की कोशिश करेंगे। धीरे धीरे वापस। अब बैठ जाएंगे और कुछ प्राणायाम करेंगे। महर्षि पतंजलि ने कहा है, तस्मिन् सति श्वास प्रश्वासयोर गतिर्विच्छेदः प्राणायामः। श्वास और प्रश्वास को नियंत्रित कर देने को प्राणायाम कहते हैं, और इसके करने से यजुर्वेद के 3 अध्याय के 62वें मंत्र में 400 वर्ष तक बिना किसी बीमारी के जिंदा रहने की जो व्यवस्था बतलाई है, उसमें इस प्राणायाम के बहुत अद्भुत रोल है। महर्षि पतंजलि के अनुसार 4 प्राणायाम: बाह्य, आभ्यंतर, स्तंभ वृत्ति, विषयाक्षेपी, चतुर्थ। ये 4 प्राणायाम के बहुत अद्भुत रोल हैं। तो अब हम करेंगे बाह्य प्राणायाम। पूरी शक्ति से श्वास को बाहर निकालना और बाहर निकाल करके बाहर होल्ड करना, और 3 क्रियाएं उसमें होती है। छोड़ी को ऐसे चिपका लेने से, चिन और चेस्ट को चिपकाने से, इसको बोलते हैं जालंधर बंद। जिनको गले से संबंधित रोग, थायराइड की दिक्कत, गले में खर्राटे आना, उनको नियंत्रित करने में बहुत लाभदायक क्रिया है। तो इसमें दूसरा बंद होता है, पेट को बिल्कुल चिपका लेते हैं पीछे रीढ़ की हड्डी से, ऐसा लगता मिल गया हो, उसे बोलते हैं उद्यान बंद। और मल द्वार को ऊपर की ओर संकुचित करते हैं, सिकोड़ते और फैलाते हैं, श्रिंक करते हैं, इसे बोलते हैं मूल बंद। जिनको धातु रोग की शिकायत है उनके लिए बहुत अच्छा, लेकिन जिसको कब्ज रहता वो इसे नहीं कर सकते हैं। लेकिन ये बहुत प्रभावशाली है, इम्यून सिस्टम को बढ़ाने के लिए अद्भुत शक्तिशाली क्रिया है। तो अब हम करेंगे, पूरी शक्ति से प्राण को बाहर निकालना, खाली पेट ही करना होता है। यदि कुछ खाए हैं तो इसको नहीं करेंगे। और श्वास भर करके बाएं नासिका से श्वास बाहर। और अगला प्राणायाम भस्त्रिका प्राणायाम, कोविड से रक्षा करने में बहुत उपयोगी प्राणायाम। हम केवल 10 बार करेंगे और आप समझने की कोशिश करेंगे। पूरी शक्ति से श्वास को बाहर निकालना और पूरे शक्ति से श्वास को अंदर भरना। 10 बार करेंगे। ये बहुत प्रभावशाली है कोरोना से रक्षा करने में और हमारे मस्तिष्क की याद करने की शक्ति को बढ़ाने में, गले से संबंधित, नाक से संबंधित विकारों को नष्ट करने में बहुत प्रभावशाली। तो आज अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस के पावन अवसर पर मैं डॉक्टर दयाशंकर विद्यालंकार, योग और भारतीय संस्कृति के आचार्य, काउंसलेट जनरल ऑफ इंडिया न्यूयॉर्क की तरफ से आप सभी लोगों को मंगल कामनाएं करता हूं। परमपिता परमात्मा आप सभी लोगों को सुखी करें और हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, जिन्होंने सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिना की भावना को अपने जीवन में चरितार्थ करने के लिए इस योग अभियान का प्रारंभ किया और उसको क्रियान्वित करने के लिए न्यूयॉर्क के सभी अधिकारियों ने बहुत अच्छा सहयोग किया। आप सभी को बहुत सारी मंगल कामनाएं। ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। गहरा सांस भर करके लंबे स्वर से ओम का उच्चारण करते हुए अपनी वाणी को हम सब विराम देंगे। गहरा सांस भरें। आप सभी को सादर अभिवादन, सबको सादर नमस्ते, धन्यवाद। बंद करो।
Georgie, you are mute.
I think there is some technical problem with the video. Friends, we tried to play a video on Spirit of Yoga produced by Indian Council of Cultural Relations. Unfortunately, there is some technical issue. We will upload this video on our social media channels at India in New York. Please do visit our website as well as our social media handles. I repeat, it is at India in New York. Thank you all for joining us for the celebration of 6th International Day of Yoga. It was great to have you in this special celebration of yoga at home, yoga with family. Till next time, goodbye.